Fields torn apart, crops ravaged overnight, livestock pens left in ruins, and it all traces back to one culprit: wild boars. Not only are they appearing more frequently, but they're also becoming bolder and more aggressive. Agricultural damage has reached a critical level, and before the next planting season begins, the most experienced hunters have stepped in. In today's video, we'll take you deep into heart-pounding chases and daring ambushes, moments that are sure to leave you stunned. The first hunt comes from Ryan, a seasoned hunter living in the Anatolian mountains of Turkey. During one of his outings, an unexpected encounter took a dangerous turn. While tracking a trail, a large boar suddenly charged out from the bushes, heading straight for Ryan in a full-blown attack. The danger unfolded in a split second, but with nerves of steel, Ryan spun around, took aim, and brought the beast down just before it could reach him. Regaining his focus, he spotted another boar nearby, startled by the gunshot and trying to flee. But Ryan was quicker. He tracked it, took the shot, and brought down his second target shortly after. We now move on to Ken, a hunting enthusiast living in the mountains of Denizli. After several days of watching the area, he discovered a herd of wild boars moving through the forest, the very culprits that had devastated local cornfields at the base of the mountain. However, things weren't so simple. The boars were clever and quick on their feet. They kept fleeing and changing direction, making it harder than ever to get a clear shot. Then there it was. As the herd entered his line of sight, he opened fire. Boar after boar went down, while the others scattered in fear, but none managed to escape his dead accurate aim. This is Mark, a professional hunter who captured an unforgettable moment when he spotted a group of wild boars tearing through backyards. Wasting no time, he grabbed his hunting rifle and took action. The sloped terrain made it difficult to approach, but Mark used the hilltops as natural ambush points. With a clear line of sight, he was able to close in and take down each boar with expert precision. While other hunters were still navigating rugged mountains, Logan was having a truly unique experience in the snow-covered peaks of northern Turkey. With deep sub-zero temperatures and heavy snowfall, every movement was slow and deliberate, but in return, wild boar tracks stood out clearly against the white landscape. Logan advanced steadily, each step firm and quiet. When he spotted the herd foraging along the slope, he waited patiently for them to separate. Then, without hesitation, he pulled the trigger. The sudden strike caught the boars completely off guard. As the first one dropped, a rapid succession of clean, calculated shots followed, efficient and cold, just like the frozen scene around him. And to wrap up today's journey, we have Neil's story. He also had a remarkable hunt during the harsh winter season. While crossing a quiet, snow-covered slope, he unexpectedly spotted a lone wild boar struggling to move through the deep snow in search of shelter. With the target in his sights, Neil calmly got into position, observed carefully, and with a single precise shot, the animal went down, putting an end to the destruction it had caused in the area. My grandparents' farm has suffered repeated damage from wild boars, with the crops taking heavy losses. Now that they've grown old and can no longer guard the land like they used to, that piece of land has become more vulnerable than ever. That's why my cousin Magnus and I decided to head out to go on a hunting trip to protect our beloved family farm. We started moving into the swampy area right next to the farm around 4 p.m., just as the wild boars began foraging. The feed we had scattered earlier had started to do its job, quickly attracting one of the boars. I climbed up a tall tree branch, hiding behind the thick brush. From up here, I had the perfect shooting. Slowly, I raised my gun and aimed at the target. Bang! Got it. I exhaled, heart still racing with excitement. A precise shot, fast and clean, instantly brought down the boar. After that first success, I moved to a new ambush spot. We stuck to our previous strategy, laying down bait to lure the boars.
Dropped him.
I waited for about 20 minutes before a group finally showed up. Oh, not very big in size, but there were quite a few of them. I adjusted my scope. The target this time was the one on the outer edge. Once I was sure it was within my sights, I pulled the trigger. The shot echoed through the swamp. Another precise hit. Another win on our mission to track down these wild intruders. My friend Magnus wasn't far off. He had just spotted a new target and was preparing to shoot. The animal kept moving, so Magnus had to be patient, waiting for the perfect moment. Once it stepped into a vulnerable position, a pellet from his air rifle struck it down instantly. In under 5 seconds, the boar collapsed before it could even let out a cry. Unlike previous hunts, on these 2 afternoons we chose to ambush from the treetops. The height gave us better visibility, made us harder to detect, and offered more safety. But it also came with risks. A single misstep could lead to a fall, so every movement had to be made with care. When the boars appeared, my heart started pounding. I locked onto my target and pulled the trigger. Got it. I couldn't hide my joy seeing the boar drop instantly. A fatal shot had immobilized it completely. That thrill, it felt like every effort we made had truly paid off. Boars are naturally cautious creatures, but the irresistible scent of bait drew them closer, unaware they were being watched. Seizing the chance, Magnus raised his rifle and took aim. The moment the target was centered in the scope, the shot rang out. It wasn't loud, but it was deadly. 2 boars dropped on the spot. Wow, perfect, powerful shots. A performance any hunter would admire. Our previous location had been exposed, so I had no choice but to quickly relocate to a new ambush point. Before I could even get fully settled, a herd of boars suddenly appeared. A big mistake on their part, but a golden opportunity for us. I swiftly took aim, locked onto the target, and pulled the trigger. The sharp crack of the rifle rang out. A clean, decisive shot ended the boar's life in an instant. Satisfaction washed over me. A well-earned reward for the focus and patience that had carried me. The harvest season is drawing near. People around here are all worried because around this time every year, wild boars start coming down from the forest and wreak havoc on the fields in just a few nights. So we decided to organize a hunt. Some prepared their guns, others brought along their packs of hunting dogs. Everyone understood clearly. If we didn't act soon, once the boars came down, all we could do was stand by and watch the crops get destroyed. We gathered at the edge of the forest. As soon as they were released, the pack of hunting dogs bolted off. Eagerly tracking the scent. It seemed they were even more impatient. The moment we heard barking, we knew the prey had been cornered. Riley was assigned to hold a position at the top of a small slope, the very spot where an entire herd of wild boars had been spotted. The dogs began driving the prey uphill from the base of the slope. As the barking grew louder, a deafening shot rang out, striking the boar. The saw but still thrashed around, refusing to give up. That stubbornness only earned it 2 more bullets, after which it finally lay still on the hillside. The team began to spread out to widen the search area. I moved forward slowly, maintaining intense focus. Suddenly, a wild boar appeared right in front of me, only about 3 meters away. It hadn't even managed to react before it dropped from a precise shot. Hopefully, the next encounters will go just as smoothly.
Bu sefer tamam.
The sound of barking echoed from deep within the forest. Without hesitation, I raised my gun and pulled the trigger decisively. The gunshot momentarily silenced the barking dogs, and the boar collapsed right there in its hiding place. After several hours of hunting, the pack of dogs continued to work tirelessly and eagerly. Thanks to their efforts, we were able to quickly detect another target and take it down with clean, efficient shots. Each successful hit brought a sense of relief, because every boar taken down meant one less threat to the approaching harvest season. When the forest finally grew quiet again, we had to use GPS to locate the pack of dogs. There, they were gathered in one spot on the far side of the slope. Just as we arrived, a dark figure suddenly appeared in my sights. Instantly, a sharp gunshot rang out. The boar dropped on the spot. The golden moment lasts only seconds. That's why, once you sense signs of prey nearby, never take your finger off the trigger. As I continued sweeping the surrounding area, I stumbled upon a small stream, an ideal feeding spot for wild boars. Let's see if we find anything here, I muttered to myself, keeping a firm grip on my rifle. And sure enough, just a few minutes later, barking erupted like a blaring alarm. A pitch-black boar came charging. I was ready. Without hesitation, I raised my gun and pulled the trigger. The shot echoed through the forest walls, bringing a dramatic and intense showdown to an end. The hunt was over, and everyone was exhausted. But at least, the upcoming harvest will face one less threat. Wild boars are powerful creatures of the wilderness, fiercely aggressive, incredibly resilient, and remarkably adaptable to harsh environments. An adult can weigh between 100 and 150 kilograms, and some males even surpass 200 kilograms, armed with razor-sharp tusks, deadly weapons when they strike back. This danger turns every hunt into a high-stakes challenge. And today, I head out once more, ready to face off in the wild mountain forests. The mountain in Buznica, about 8 kilometers from Enoch's home, was chosen as the first ideal hunting location. Upon arrival, everyone quickly returned to their assigned positions. I carefully checked all my equipment and patiently waited for the prey to appear. There it is. Shouts began echoing from various spots. Seeing the boar charging in my direction, I swiftly raised my rifle, aimed, and pulled the trigger. It wasn't a large one, but it was incredibly fast. I fired several shots, all missing. Just as it was about to disappear into the brush, one final shot landed, bringing it down instantly. The hunt had only just begun, and already the tension was suffocating. It seemed today would be a real challenge for the entire team. The sun grew harsher by the minute to conserve our strength under the scorching heat. We decided to bring the hunting dogs and continue the search. Exactly 15 minutes later, the dogs began barking, a promising sign that prey was nearby. We scanned the surroundings with full focus. Just as expected, the boar suddenly burst out. I didn't hesitate, firing off a rapid burst of shots. The bullets hit their mark. Wounded and dazed, the boar collapsed shortly after. Following a narrow trail up the mountain, we suddenly heard a strange noise coming from the bushes off to the side. I immediately signaled the team to stop and cautiously raise my rifle. "Shoot!" Now, the others shouted. I fired. With one clean, fatal shot, the bullet struck directly and the boar dropped instantly. My God, I never imagined I could pull off such a perfect shot. To avoid alerting the boars, we had to position ourselves downwind. But the scorching heat of the mountains drenched everyone in sweat, making the hunt more grueling and intense than ever. There's one. Enoch called out after spotting the boar. He quickly moved to intercept it along the trail. Tension grew with every second. When the gunshot rang out, the boar stumbled immediately. That hit was critical. It wouldn't get far now. While tracking the boar separately from the group, I suddenly heard the sound of barking grow louder. I instinctively raised my rifle, and boom. The boar charged out, catching me off guard. But luckily, my quick reflexes helped me bring it down cleanly. Now it lay motionless on the ground. The dramatic chase finally over. As soon as I spotted the prey, I didn't hesitate. I fired immediately. Everything went smoothly. And after that, we bagged several valuable trophies for today's hunt. After a long and exhausting morning, the group had achieved solid results. But with such a dense wild boar population in this area, it's clear we'll be returning for more cleanup hunts soon. This was the third day of our week-long hunt. We've been tracking the boars from the western hills, across 2 creeks, and spent last night sleeping under a big oak tree. One old boar showed up on our trail cam last night, about 260 pounds, tusks curved like fishhooks. And this morning, the wind was blowing just right. The hunt was back on. We headed straight to the area where we'd found heavy boar tracks the day before. From my position up in the blind, I raised my rifle, looked through the scope, and there it was. The bullet hit clean, dropping the boar instantly. Hank whistled a sharp single note. I knew exactly what it meant. More of them were nearby. A small wild boar, forging over. I didn't hesitate. My finger tightened on the trigger. Out on the trail, Hank had already figured out the boar's direction. I moved to cut them off at the trail's edge, while Hank and Dawson flanked them from both sides. Classic pincer move. Then gunfire rang out. I dropped my first target. With solid formation and perfect coordination, we had full control of the hunt. More boars went down, one after another. Mid-morning now, we pushed deeper into the woods, looking for the bigger ones. Dawson suddenly froze ahead of us. We all heard it, clear rustling in the dry leaves. Boar. No time to waste. Dawson raised his rifle and dropped it with a single shot. Before we could even catch our breath, more rustling, this time to our right. A group of wild boars charged out of the trees. It was a wild, incredible sight. Gunshots cracked through the forest. The sound of him racking his bolt echoed nonstop. These were hands down the most intense and thrilling moments of the day. During a quick break, we regrouped and adjusted our ambush strategy, then moved southeast through the forest. Sure enough, another group emerged. My instincts fired up. I chambered around and pulled the trigger without mercy. Amid the gunfire, another boar went down. It was near day's end. I was exhausted, just planned to stick around a bit longer in case a straggler wandered by. But out of nowhere, another whole herd stormed in. Hank laughed. Looks like no one told the boys hunting season started. The moment I spotted it, My fatigue disappeared. I raised my rifle, took aim, and dropped one instantly. As day 3 wrapped up, we were all worn out, sweaty, dirty, caked in dust, but our eyes still sparkled. It had been a tough day, full of surprises, and well worth it.
Good, very good.
On the hike back to camp, the woods rang with laughter, cigarette smoke, and stories of clean shots. Tomorrow, we hunt again, because out there, the boars aren't done yet.